amazing event, and I want to thank those who made it possible, the Center for Contemporary Poetry and Poetics, and its director, Timothy Steele, and the Department of Modern Languages and la Asociación de Estudiantes de Español, and its president, Raúl González, and in particular I want to thank Ginny G. Where are you, Ginny? Oh, she doesn't only have an amazing name, Ginny G, but she's the closest thing I've ever seen to magic, to a magician. And I'm really very proud to introduce to you this poet, and I'm very proud to introduce to you this audience, which is also an amazing audience and probably the finest you can get here on campus. And these are also the finest and most powerful, among the most powerful poets you can find in among Latin American in this case. As soon as I'm done talking, you can hear them. I just want to say a couple of things. I'm really inspired when I read them, and as much as when I read very good poets. And it reminds me, when I read the poetry of these poets, of a line that I really like by Rilke from the notebooks of Rainer Maria Rilke. And Rilke wrote, "The time of the other explanation will come, in which words will untie themselves, in which meanings will dissolve like clouds and come down like water." I was always really intrigued and fascinated by this line, and because it implies two things for me. First of all, it implies that there is another inadequate explanation, this idea of the other explanation. An inadequate explanation which we could call religion or philosophy or science. And then there is this other explanation which we could equate with Kepler's idea of the universal music, these rhymes and rhythms and melodies of the universe. And the other implication that I get from this line is something that has to do with the relationship between prose writers and poets. Prose writers are, I think, always intimidated by poets. At least that's my case, and I'm going to make a theory of it. And I think there is a reason for that, because writers in general work on the assumption that we could get to this universal music through words. But we prose writers know that poets are much better equipped and more in tune and more connected to this music than prose writers, than mere prose writers. So I just want to say that in my case, you know, this intimidation could even be more appalling because I know them, and I know they are amazing poets, and they are very inspiring, and I know their what I call the pornographic love for language. And I know it's an uncommon way of characterizing love, but after you hear their poetry, you will have to admit that their dedication to language is obscene. Sure. For calling you pornographic. Anyway, let me just read to you a bit more of what you get in the poster about their work and their life, so you know them a little bit better. Marcelo Pellegrini is originally from Chile. He comes today from the University of Madison in Wisconsin, where he specializes in 19th and 20th century Latin American poetry. He is the author of a critical edition of La Miseria del Hombre, Gonzalo Roca's first poetry collection, La Fuga from 2007, and a book of Chilean poetry of the 1990s called Confróntese con la Sospecha. As a translator, he has published La Señal de Todas las Cosas, Kenneth Rexell's first book-length poetry collection in Spanish, a selection of William Shakespeare's sonnets, Constancia y Claridad, from 2006, and Figuras del Original from 2008, which is a compilation of all his poetry translations from English and Portuguese into Spanish. Since he was about 6 years old, Marcelo has been publishing one book per year, at least for his
So you have to be always on the lookout for his next move. He wasn't 6 years old? 5. Okay. Sorry. Alexis, Romay. He received a Master's of Arts in Spanish Language and Literature from the City University of New York. His novel Salidas de Emergencia was published in Spain and in Italy in 2007. His book of poetry, Los Culpables, was published in Spain in 2008. He is a contributor to Encuentros en Madrid, Letralia, Tierra de Letras, and Penúltimos Días, as well as to the quarterly Encuentro de la Cultura Cubana, Caleta and Letras Libres. He has translated into Spanish the novel Flight to Freedom by Ana García Suárez, and into English the novel El Norte del Infierno by Miguel Correa Mojica. With Enrique del Risco, he has written lyrics for Paquito de Rivera's operetta, Cecilio Valdés, Rey de La Habana. Originally from Cuba, Alexis lives in New Jersey with his wife, his dog, a baby, I don't know in that order, and writes daily about Cuba, literature, and other tropical diseases in his blog Velos Caín and Neptuno. And Nestor Díaz de Villegas, poet and performance artist, was born in Cumanayalco, Cuba, near Cienfuegos. He studied painting at the San Alejandro Art Academy. He resides in the United States since 1979. He has been a columnist for Miami Daily, El Nuevo Filo, and a contributor to Encuentro and Letras Libres magazines. His published volumes of poetry include Vicio de Miami, Confesiones del Estrangulador de Flagler Street, and Sales Way and El Dale Piedra, which I believe Sales Way would be, you have some copies? Would be available in some people one. These are, of course, three very versatile, and he's edited here, so we can say. Very versatile and maybe volatile poets, but they seem to share an interest in common, an interest that has to do with classical form and meter and translation, and going back to this idea of the connection between the other explanation and the universal music, this is something we could explore, the connection between classical form and universal music. And I remember Nestor told me that either by chance or inspiration I have put together three poets who seem to be interested in the same thing. And I was quick to reply that I don't work by chance, I only work by inspiration. And that might be the fact that I am inspired by them. And you will see this after experiencing the poetry, and you keep hearing this reverberation of the universal music. And that's why I was reminded of Ricky. And if you allow me, I will say that line in Spanish because I love the way it sounds in Spanish more than in English. It says, va a llegar el tiempo de la otra explicación en el que las palabras se desatarán, en el que cada significado se deshará como una nube y caerá como agua. So just a heads up, that time will not come. That time is tonight. You will see after experiencing them that you will experience the miracle of words undoing themselves, meaning dissolving and coming down like water. So let's give them a round of applause.